सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। परित्यज्य सर्वं यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। दयालुं गुरुं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं प्रशान्तं समाराध्य मत्या विचार्य स्वरूपम् यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं निदिध्यास्य विद्वान् परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। यदानन्दरूपं प्रकाशस्वरूपं निरस्तप्रपञ्चं परिच्छेदहीनं अहं ब्रह्मवृत्यैकगम्यं तुरीयम् परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। यदज्ञानतो भाति विश्वं समस्तं विनष्टं च सद्यो यदात्मप्रबोधे मनोवागतीतं विशुद्धं विमुक्तं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। निषेधे कृते नेति नेतीति वाक्यैः समाधिस्थितानां यदा भाति पूर्णम् अवस्थात्रयातीतमद्वैतमेकम् परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। यदानन्दलेशैः समानन्दि विश्वम् यदा भाति सत्त्वे तदा भाति सर्वम् यदा लोकने रूपमन्यत् समस्तम् परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहम् शिवं संग्रहीणं यदोङ्कारगम्यम् निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। यदानन्दसिन्धौ निमग्नः पुमान् स्यात् समस्तप्रपञ्चः स्फुरत्यद्भुतं यन्निमित्तं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवागमस्मि स्वरूपानुसन्धानरूपां स्तुतिं यः पठेदादरात् भक्तिभावो मनुष्यः शृणोति वा नित्यमुद्युक्तचित्तः भवेद्विष्णुरत्रैव वेदप्रमाणात् भवेद्विष्णुरत्रैव Verse number 6 pointed out that the existence and the manifestation, satta, spurti. Manifestation means the thing showing up, available for perception, use, being related to, that is the spurti. Satta and spurti, the very existence and the manifestation, being seen, etc., of every object is from Brahma Atma alone. Brahma Atman is the Satta Spurti Pradatru, the one who lends existence to all, the one who lends illumination to all. Yada bhati sattve tada bhati sarvam. And then, not only that, all usefulness, all meaningfulness, happiness, utility derived from all entities, objects, people, things, that's all from Brahma alone, Brahmatma alone. Yadananda leshaihi samanandi vishwam. The whole entire world of beings finds its happiness because of Brahmatma, from Brahmatma. Draw happiness as it were. All beings draw happiness from Atma Swarupa only, Brahma Swarupa only. That is said there. And then the complete seeing something completely, relating to it meaningfully, that is only when one relates to Ishvara, when one invokes the invariable connection with Ishvara. Brahma, Atma, yada lokane rupamanyat samstam. It was said. Everything is Brahman, in short. Everything is Brahman, Atman. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. Now, to facilitate the focus of the mind, the one-pointedness, ekagrata of the mind, upasana is recommended, is suggested, is enjoined in the Vedas, in the Upanishads. We find in almost in all the Upanishads, upasanas are mentioned. Upasana, a mental vyapara, manasa vyapara, a mental activity, a deliberate activity based on one's will. One has to will to meditate, to contemplate. But willing alone is not enough. One needs to be prepared also, be ready to meditate also. I want to meditate, all right, but I should have a meditative disposition. That is, I should learn, I should cultivate that. Both are necessary. Okay. One should have the will to meditate and also the disposition to meditate. Learn the disposition, grow the disposition. That comes only by practice. Only by doing it, we learn it. Like swimming, no? We jump in water and then get into water and learn to swim. So to practice meditation, you learn how to meditate. Otherwise, it will never come. So contemplation, that is enjoying. And what do you contemplate upon here? Sagunam va, Nirgunam va, Brahma. Sagunam Brahma. Brahman seen with, loaded with attributes, with the Upadhi called Maya. Ishvara Upadhi Maya. With all the glory, the greatness, the grandeur, the depth of the Maya Shakti. We can't fathom Maya. No human mind can really fathom Maya, but it can have a glimpse. A good enough glimpse, an adequate glimpse. Like even no diver can fathom the depth of, every depth of the ocean, but good enough the person can see. So too we can have a good enough sight, good enough vision, view about the Maya, some appreciation about the Maya Shakti. And it's related to Ishvara, that is the Sagunam Brahma. The Shastra says Sarvavyapi, and then Sarvashaktiman, Sarvajna, omniscient, Sarvavyapi, every omnipresent, and then Niyanta, the one who wields the entire prapancha through the order, the niyamas, the order, various orders are there, can be appreciated in this universe, like order governing the physical bodies, that is like stars and whatnot, and then the minute particles like atoms, etc. There are laws governing entities, and then there are laws governing phenomena, various phenomena like light, heat, etc. Various phenomena, and then there are phenomena, there are laws governing the subtle, the living world, right? The world of living beings, like birth, etc., conception, birth, its growth, etc., digestion. All that's all concerned with the world of living beings. There is a set of law governing that, and then there are laws governing the way of the mind. This field called psychology, it's ever growing field now. There is so much to know about the ways of the mind, the behavior of the person, behavior of animals, and the behavior of the individuals. Psychology deals with all that. That's also, people are still discovering, unraveling certain secrets about the ways of the mind, the behavior of the person. People are still doing that. All form part of this grand order. Everything in this world falls within this order, this grand order. Right? And Ishvara is appreciated in this order. It's the easiest way to appreciate Ishvara. Appreciate Ishvara as the order manifest. All laws are Ishvara's laws only. Okay? So, that way one appreciates Ishvara. Sagunam Brahma. That is the prime content of meditation. And as related to this Ishvara Dhyanam, focus on the meditator also. Who is the meditator? Who am I? I am the meditator. The meditator is also looked into, because it is that fellow, the entity, meditator is doing the meditation. Therefore, some light, necessary light on the meditator also needs to be dwelt upon. And then there is a continuity should be there. Regularly one should do an appointed time, fixed time, preferably early in the morning, when the mind and the body will be at their probably the best. Mind is free from lot of disturbances, mind is quiet. Therefore, anything that we learn, that we deliberate, can sink deep into the mind. That's why people chose, our elders chose, suggested early morning. Mind, when it's quiet, when it is peaceful, things go deep into it. Otherwise, when the mind is, when there is a lot of disturbances, when there is a lot of turbulence, activity, then it does not go deep. Like even in still water, light penetrates deeply. So too, certain understanding about life, goes deep about oneself, goes deep into the mind. That's why we do in the early morning. Okay, continuity, regularity is necessary. Not like now once in a year, once in 6 months won't help. That won't help. Then there are continuity, regularity, and then there's a commitment. Nairantarya, Dirghakala, Nairantarya, and then the Adara. These three conditions. Dirghakala, for a length of time, and then Nairantarya, regularly. Adara, with a commitment one does. And in that process, we deliberately keep out the unrelated, unconnected thoughts, the thinking process, we deliberately keep out, and then we bring in the related flow of thoughts we keep. Sajatiya vritti pravaha, related only, all connected to one's understanding, one's process of meditation. We bring in those thoughts deliberately, and we deliberately keep the unconnected thoughts outside. They say this is the upasana. One can choose one's own Ishta Devata, one's form of Ishvara, which one likes, which one's used to, prefers, one can use. There are attendant aspects are the like posture, sitting posture, and then the body posture. All these are all related, and then pranayama, and some techniques, some useful techniques. Techniques are not meditation, but techniques help one in meditation. Like observing the breath is a technique, helping the mind to settle, helping the mind find and focus. Mind can stay with the topic, with the practice. So these are all some elements of Upasana meditation. And the Shastra enjoins various methods for meditation and various entities as a help, alambana, as a help. You hold on to something and then meditate on those lines. Like suppose I want to climb, somewhere, I climb, hold a rope or something and then I climb. So like an alambana, a support for the mind to hold on. Ishvara is nirupa, formless. God is formless. Atma is formless. And it's not an object. How to think about, how to meditate upon Atma, Ishvara, who is formless. That's why Shastra gives us certain alambana, some support to hold on to. And there are two types of supports. One is visual alambana. That's called pratima. Pratima is a visual support. Ganesha, the form of Ganesha, the form of Krishna, these are all pratima, visual forms. And there are a few sound symbols also. That's called pratika. Pratima and pratika. Pratima is a visual symbol, visual support, like a form. And pratika is a sound symbol. There are many sound symbols. And of these, Om, that Ekaksharam, this is the best one. The Upanishads prescribe Om as the sound symbol. What we see in the board, it's not the symbol, it's not the sound symbol, it's not Om, it's only a picture. The Om letter you write, that sound stands for the sound Om. The sound Om is to be meditated upon, not the written form, not this form. This is only a convenience, our convenience, that's all. So Om, the sound is the symbol. Not even the written O and then Makara, Okara, Makara. That is not the symbol, it's a sound symbol. Om, the sound, is the symbol. Kathopanishad says, this is the alambanam for Param Brahma. This is alambanam for, alambanam means support. something you hold on to connect, so that you can connect, so that the mind can connect with that. Etadalambanam shreshtam, etadalambanam param, the Kathopanishad says about that Omkara. So here in this next verse talks about, the Acharya talks about the Upasana, Anantam. These some words which we are familiar with. Anantam, boundless, limitless. Anta, there is no Anta. There is no Desha Kala Vastu limitation. Anantam. When everything is Brahmatman, then definitely there is no boundary, including Kala, including time. Time doesn't limit Atma, Ishvara. Me, I am free from time. This is something very important, something to be dwelt upon. You know, when people chewing gum, no, keep on chewing one bad of some chewing gum and then go on chewing for an hour or so, right? Chewing gum. So here, this is something to chew about. Mentally, one has to chew about. What is this? One has to chew. Swarupa, I am free from time. Aham kalatita. This is something very profound. I am kalatita. I am free from time. Anantam. I am desha atita. I am free from desha also. Space does not limit me, the Atman. And then having something, not having something, with or without something, I am Vastu Atita. I am free from the limitation caused by Vastu as well. Anantam. I am limitless. Atma is limitless. Ananta. And Vibhu. Vibhu, two meanings. Vibhu means, one meaning is all pervasive. Another meaning is that which manifests in all forms. Vividam bhavati iti vibhu. That which shows up in all forms. Like even our clay shows up as all the clay objects, right? You go to a shop where they make and sell clay articles. One clay shows up as all in all forms. So vibhu, that which shows up in all forms. Also, another meaning, third meaning vibhu will be that which excels, that which shines excellently, that which excels everything, vibhu. Atishayena bhavati, visheshena bhavati, atishayena bhavati iti vibhu. That which outshines everything, vibhu. Then, nirvikalpa, free from all mentations, vikalpa, minds, all the mentations, all the thought process, it is free from all vikalpas. This or that, this way, that way, here or there, now or then, these are all vikalpas, right? Such vikalpas, I am free from all that. Sharira, body has vikalpas, mind has vikalpas, but then Atma, there are no vikalpas, free from all vikalpa, all variations, all changes, all differences. Atma is free from vikalpa. Okay, niriham. Iha means one is cheshta. Iha means cheshta. Cheshta means activity. Activity means change. There is no activity without change, right? Now suppose I keep on holding my hands like this, and then I say I am stretching my hands. No, I am stretching my fingers. I am doing thing. Holding still, I cannot do. Activity means there has to be change in the form or in the content. There has to be change. Here Atma is free from Brahman. Ishvara is free from all Iha. So Iha means there is a cheshta. Cheshta means change. Also with reference to karma, there is a karta, bhokta should be there. Where there is no karta, bhokta, there is no karma, there is no bhoga. So Ishvara is Purna Atma and therefore free from all cheshta, all changes. Therefore, no sense of incompleteness in Ishvara. Therefore, Niriha. Ishvara is Niriha. Nir-iha, Nirgata, Iha, Yasmat, Saha, Niriha. Free from all changes, free from incompleteness. Niriham. Shivam. Shiva, a popular word. Shiva here means Mangalam, Mangala Rupam. Kalyanam, Kalyana Rupam. The highest good, that is the Shiva. Atma is the highest good. Knowing the Atma is the Atma Brahman. Knowing Ishvara is the highest good, Shivam. A lot can be said about each of these words, but then we will go briefly. Sangahinam. Sangena hinam. Free from all connections, all attachments, all bondage. Free from all bondage, all attachment. Sangahinam. Why Sangahinam? Because it is a Paramartha Vastu. Paramartha Satyam it is. There is no other Paramartha Satyam. There is no other entity to connect with on a level footing, on a level ground. There is nothing to connect with. There is only Ishvara, and therefore, being only one, there is no connection. You remember, to have connection, there must be at least two. Two entities must be there. Two entities, both the entities must belong to the same order, right? Where the two entities are of different order, then there can be no meaningful connection. There is no real connection. Like even between rope and snake, what is the connection? There is no connection. What is the connection between pot and clay? Only adhyasa sambandha, the kalpita sambandha alone. Nama Rupa is kalpita on clay, then we have pot, that's all. So, all kalpita sambandha only is there. Vastavika, true connection, true relation is not there at all. That is, Paramarthika sambandha is not there. Also, connection is possible between two things, and the two things must have parts, must have anga. I can shake hand with you because I have hands, you have hands. Suppose we are all like, both of us are like ball, okay? We are like a rubber ball, huge ball, that's all. In that rubber ball somewhere, I just, no part sticking out. How can I shake hands with you? How can I do namaste to you? No hands, no legs. So, like that, partless, being partless, there is no truck, there is no association with anything. It's like space. No? Space is the beautiful example. Space supports everything. Everything manifests in space, but then space doesn't have any association with anything. Right? So, Atma Brahma, Brahmatman is like Akasa Kalpa, therefore Nisangahinam. And then he says, Omkara Gamyam. Gamya, what is gained, what is understood by taking to the meditation on the Om, the sound symbol, Pratika Om. This is a very profound symbol here, Om. There is a lot of elaboration in Mandukya Upanishad on this. Mandukya Upanishad predominantly talks about Om only. Almost the entire Mandukya Upanishad talks about Om. What is Om? How do we meditate? What do we do with Om? It talks about. So, Omkara Gamyam Yat, that which is gained through, understood by taking to Omkara. If I want to understand Param Brahma, Om is the symbol, is the highest symbol, the most recommended symbol. And if I want to meditate on Sagunam Brahma, again Om is the symbol, Omkara Gamyam. I am not going to go in detail about this. The Omkara itself is a big topic. In fact, it is the entire Vedanta. Om is entire Vedanta. Om is entire Purushartha. Om is Ishvara. Om is Param Brahma, Aparam Brahma. Om. This is the beauty of the truth of the Ishvara, of the Vastu. It can be said in the briefest possible way, Om. That's the briefest one syllable, that's all. And a meaningful syllable. It's not a meaningless sound. Some people say, mantras are meaningless sounds. They are not meaningless sounds, they are very meaningful. Of course, there may be sounds which are meaningless, but what Shastra recommends here, Om, is not a meaningless sound, a very, very meaningful sound. Okay. So, that is Om. It can be said briefly also, and the whole expansion of Upanishad and all that, and then Prasa, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasanam, everything is all elaboration of this one Om. It's like a magician's kit, okay? Magician's kit. Everything, the magician opens his shop, okay? And then all magic comes out. And then wine shop, everything is goes back into his kit. So this is a Om, like Om. Everything comes from Pranava. That is the word. Pranava means here Ishvara. Pranava is Ishvara. Om is equal to Ishvara. Om is equal to Brahma, Atma. From Brahma everything comes. Then from Pranava everything is said to manifest, and then everything is sustained by this Pranava called Ishvara, called Pranava, and then everything resolves unto Om. Yad Omkara Gamyam. I move further. Nirakaram, formless. Formful means it has birth, etc. Anything that has form will be subject to change, subject to limitation. Atma is Nirakara, form free. But at the same time manifests as all forms. This is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of it. Formless shows up as all forms. Clay itself has no particular form, but it can manifest as different clay objects. Gold itself does not have any particular form, but then the formless gold can show up as different ornaments. So it is the form free alone can show up as all forms. Formful, what is formful, can manifest in one form or a few forms, that is all. Right? Like I have this body has a form. I can have different manifestations, sitting, standing, running, jumping, then hand stretched, all that. I can have different variations I can show up, but that's all. I cannot walk like a dinosaur. I cannot shout like a dinosaur. There is limited form, therefore it's limited. Whereas Nirakara, form free, can show up as, can manifest in all forms. Okay. These are all words which you have seen very often so far. You have seen many times. Ati Ujvalam, very brilliant. Ujvala, very brilliant, resplendent. Like they compare thousands of suns rising together. Remember, the light, etc., should not be taken literally. Don't take light, etc., 1,000 suns, right? A million suns. That's all. Don't take literally. The point is that it is self-revealing, and nothing can stop it being self-revealing. That's it. That is the Ati Ujvalam, extremely resplendent, very brilliant. Ujvalam. Then Mrityu Heenam, free from death, free from end, free from Nasha, no destruction. Mrityu, the death, free from death. Mrityu Heenam. Param Brahman. This is how one can meditate. Omkara Gamyam, Shivam, then Ujvalam, etc. One can Upasana. Also, it is the Tattva, Upasana, and it is the Swarupa of Atma Brahma as well. Param Brahma Nityam Tadeva Aham Asmi. Okay. The next verse, verse number 8, talks about the Phalam, Jnana Phalam. What do I get by having this understanding? I am free from all suffering. I am free from the notion of a sufferer. Dukkhitva goes away. Samsara goes away. The samsari notion goes away. And then Aham Ananda, that is Ananda Avapti, is there. And one obtains the contentment, the abiding satisfaction, abiding happiness, fullness that one gains. That is said in the next verse. Yat ananda sindhau. Here it's very clear. The sixth verse said, Yat ananda leshaihi samanandi vishvam. There the drops, it was said. Here, what is Atma? It is Sindhu. Sindhu means ocean. Ananda Sindhu. Sindhu means ocean. The ocean of Ananda. Fullness. Happiness, fullness. Nimagnaha, immersed. Immersed. Right? In ocean, I can't stay immersed for a long time. I gasp for breath and then I will die. If I stay immersed, I will die. But here it is Ananda Sindhau Nimagnaha, immersed in all. That means immersed means completely enveloped by this wisdom, this vision, this understanding. Anywhere I look, anything I do, anything I use, anything I relate with, in all this, in and through, there is the understanding. That is a Nimagnaha, soaked in this Ananda, which is like unto an ocean. So vast it is, limitless it is, right? That is the idea. Ananda Sindhau Nimagnaha, soaked in this Ananda, this owning the fullness, which is like an ocean here. Puman Syat. Then when the person is immersed in that, Puman, the person gets immersed in this happiness, in this fullness, in wisdom, then Samasta Prapanchaha, the entire Prapancha universe, is Avidya Vilasaha. We have to split, understand? Puman Syat Avidya Vilasaha. It is printed Vidya Vilasa, separate word. It is Avidya Vilasaha. Next time we can split the words also and print so that we don't read incorrectly. Avidya Vilasaha Samasta Prapancha. The entire Prapancha is brought out by Maya and Avidya. You recollect two Srishtis. There are two Srishtis, two creations, twofold. One is Ishvara Srishti, the other is Jiva Srishti. Ishvara Srishti is Maya Vilasaha, and then Jiva Srishti is Avidya Vilasaha. Samsara is Jiva creation. Prapancha, the universe, is Ishvara's creation. So, both are called by the word Avidya here. Maya, nature of Maya is Avidya, therefore here Maya Vilasaha, Avidya Vilasaha. Cha. The entire world of Nama Rupa, without exception, is Maya Vilasa, Avidya Vilasa. Vilasa is the manifestation, the sport, the manifestation of the play. It is said here, play, the sport, the manifestation of Maya and Avidya. When we say Maya, one thing we have to remember here, when we say the world is Maya, right? The truth of the Maya is the Mayavi, is the truth. The truth of the magic is the magician, is the truth. That's all. The magician's knowledge, the magician's capacity, the magician is the center, is the truth of all magic. So too, the truth of all Maya is Mayavi. So when the Shastra says, I am Prapanchaha, Maya Vilasaha, Maya Mayaha, this world is Maya Maya, is Maya. What is the meaning there? You look at the Mayavi, that is the meaning. Focus on the Mayavi. So Mayavi is one word. We find in this Mayi, Mayavi, two words. One who wields Mayi, one who wields Maya. That's the Mayi or Mayavi, Mayavin. Okay. So Shastra uses the word to denote Vishnu. Narayana is Mayavi. When we hear in all the Puranas and in the TV serial dramas, all that, Hey Bhagavan, tum to bade Mayavi ho, and all that they say. Narada said, you are Mayavi. Rishi said, you are Mayavi, and all. So here, Ishvara, Mayavi, one who wields Maya Shakti, this wonderful power, this great power, grand power called Maya Shakti, the one who wields Maya. Therefore, when we say, the Shastra says, this world is Maya, the meaning is, Ishvara is Mayavi. You focus on the Mayavi, that's what we should focus. That's very important. Then only it's meaningful. Saying the world is Maya is meaningful only when the Mayavi is indicated. Only when the Mayavi is focused upon. You focus on Ishvara, right? That is the idea. One who wields is Maya Shakti. Okay. Avidya Vilasaha. For an ignorant person, the world is a source of pleasure or pain, or neutral. For an wise person, the world is a manifestation of Ishvara's vibhuti, Ishvara's glory. It's all Ishvara's glory. That's how the Shastra presents, that's how the wise person understands. Everything is Ishvara vibhuti. This is briefly and little elaborately said in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Vibhuti Yoga chapter. The Vibhuti Yoga, Bhagavan talks about that, describes some salient places, important places where you can spot, you won't miss Ishvara Vibhuti, the grandeur, the greatness, you won't miss. Like even in the luminous objects, I am the sun, he says. And in all the flowing waters, I am Ganga, Jannavi, Srotasamasmi, Jannavi. And then Sarasamasmi, Sagaraha. Among the bodies of water, I am like ocean. One won't miss the bigness, the depth, the size, the magnitude, the beauty in such entities. I may miss the beauty of water, the grandness of water, the greatness of water in a puddle of water, in a drop of water, I may miss, I may overlook. But when I see a ocean, wow, how big it is, how vast it is, how deep it is, I will not miss the grandeur of the ocean, the water in ocean. So, Bhagavan gives a list of things in which one can easily appreciate Ishvara. And then finally he says, Arjuna, don't think that this is all I am. It's not that I manifest only as the sun, only as the moon, only as Ganga, only as Himalaya, only as ocean. No, I am the truth, I am everything. Yadyat urjitam, yadyat sattvam urjitam Srimadeva tattadeva avagaccha mama tejomsha sambhavam, he says. All that is there, it's all my manifestation. Understand, Arjuna, he says. And he says, there is no end. I cannot go on listing, it's endless. Nasti antaha vibhutehe mama. There is no end to my listing my great glories. As it is glory, there is no end. Therefore, here, avidya vilasaha, Maya vilasa means Mayavi's glory is there. This is the only way to, this is the best way and the best way to connect to the world, to oneself, to interact, bring in Ishvara. Bringing in Ishvara in all transactions. It is already there. It's already there, and then I bring into my awareness, that's all, which I miss out if I'm not aware of it. In awareness, I bring in Ishvara. It's the best way to live, the most rewarding way to live. So, avidya vilasaha samasta prapanchaha. When I see the vastu behind that, I am not carried away by the nama rupa, carried away the appearances, carried away by what is transient, what is changing. We do know that some person's behavior, sometimes it is not all right, not fitting of his stature or something, somebody's behavior. But then we don't judge by that person only by that single event or something, because there is changing. Of course, there is a manifestation of something is there, unwelcome is there, but then it is transient, it changes. Therefore, here we focus on what is permanent, what is meaningful, what is true, right? What is transient anyway, right? Anityam, anityam eva. What is the point in focusing on anityam? What is not true also. Therefore, one may focus on Ishvara, who is the content of everything, who is the content of oneself. Avidya vilasaha samasta prapanchaha. Tada, when that person is immersed, soaked in that vision, naha, for us. When you take naha, the reading as naha, naha means for us. For us the sadhakas, for us the seekers, the mukshus, spurati adbhutam. Everything shines brilliantly, wonderfully. Adbhutam spurati. Yan nimittam, due to which, because of which, everything shines grandly. Right? Everything is understood as Ishvara Vibhuti, Maya Vilasa, and then it's a sport. You enjoy it. Adbhutam spurati, shines exquisitely. Yan nimittam, because of which, that is Param Brahman. If you take the reading na spurati instead of naha, without the visarga, then this na spurati, this nama rupa is not taken into account in one's value, in one's understanding of truth, of reality. The nama rupa is not taken, that's all, discounted. Like suppose, imagine this is a golden pot, okay, and then what is the value of this pot? I weigh the pot and then say some 20 grams, 30 grams. What is the weight of the pot? No, the only weight of the gold, that's all, right? So when I weigh things, the content alone matters. The nama rupa doesn't matter. Of course, jewelry shop, they charge you for making, and then it's all there. But then here, the worth, the content alone counts. What is contentless? No, it's a manifestation. That's all. You see the manifestation, useful, all right. But then when it comes to reality, that alone counts. That is what is said. Na spurati, does not shine. That is said here. Should not be taken literally here. That is if I understand Brahma Atma, if I am Mukta, then I open my eyes, the world will not shine before me. Don't take it that way. You will be in trouble. Naspurati adbhutam param brahma nityam tadeva aham asmi. And finally, the Acharya concludes by saying this. Swarupana sandhana rupam stutim. This stuti, this stotra, this composition, which is in the form of rupa, in the form of swarupa anusandhana. Anusandhana is contemplation, repeated contemplation about swarupa. Swarupa anusandhana rupam stutim. This stotra, this composition, which is in the form of contemplation about one's own nature, true nature. Yaha pathet, one who studies, one who reads, one who recites, one who study. Patha means both meanings. Read and study, both meanings are there. Shastram patati means the fellow recites. Shastram patati, studies, both meanings are there. One who studies, one who recites this Swarupana Sandhana. Adarat, with a commitment, with interest. It is your interest which lends meaning to everything you do. Okay, your interest. You are not interested means that's all. It doesn't mean much to you. One's own interest, with interest, if I do. Adarat, bhakti bhavaha, filled with the devotion. With the devotion, bhakti bhavaha. Then, manushyaha, a person who would study this with commitment, with interest, with devotion. Shrunotiha va, iha, here, now, Shrunoti va, or listens, does not study but simply listens to that. This chanting of the stotra or the meaning of the stotra. Shrunoti iha va, nityam, constantly, regularly. Udyukta chittaha, chitta, whose mind is udyukta, with interest, effortful, motivated, right? With the motivation, with the keenness, udyukta chittaha. Then he says, bhaved Vishnu, that person indeed becomes Vishnu, verily becomes one with Ishvara, Vishnu. Atraiva, here itself, now itself, becomes one with Brahman, is Brahman, right? Vishnu here is Brahma, Param Brahma becomes Brahma. Atraiva Vishnu Bhavet. How do we know? What is that? This one? Veda Pramanat. On the Pramanyam, on the meaningfulness of Veda. On the means for revealing Vastu, that is Veda. Veda is the Pramana. On the merit of Veda, by the merit of Veda, on the strength of the Veda, which is Pramana, Abhavet Atraiva Vishnu. I am not promising something here, but then I am declaring that you are Vishnu. You are one with Vishnu. How do you say that? Why do you say that? Because Veda Pramana being there. On the strength of Veda Pramana, this is said, and also on the strength of the Veda Pramana, that is knowledge, one understands one as Vishnu. One understands the Vishnu, that is Param Brahma. Bhavet Vishnu Ratraiva Veda Pramanat. Okay? I like this stotra, Swarupanusandhana Ashtakam. Very lilting words, in a lilting tune, simple words, but the profundity of Vedanta, the entire Upanishads and all that, it's all very beautifully presented. No problems, no hitches anywhere here. Very clean presentation of Vedanta here. Okay. So we'll read this again and then conclude. Swarupana Sandhana Ashtakam. Tapo yajna dhanadi vishuddha buddhihi virakto nripade spade tuccha buddhyam parityajya sarvam yadapnoti tattvam param brahma nityam tadevagamasti dayalum gurum brahmanishtam prasantam samaradhya matya vicharya swarupam yadapnoti tattvam nididhyasya vidvan param brahma nityam tadevagamasti yadananda rupam prakashasvarupam nirasta prapancham parichedaheenam aham brahma vrityaika gamyam turiyam param brahma nityam tadevagamasti yata jnanato bhati vishvam samastam vinashtam cha sadyo yadatma prabodhe manobhagatitam vishuddham vimuktam param brahma nityam tadevagamasti nishedhe krite neti neti vakyai samadhistitanam yada bhati purnam avasthatrayatitamadvaitamekam param brahma nityam tadevagamasti yadanandaleshai samanandi vishvam लोकनिरूपमन्यत् समस्तं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवागमस्मि अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं शिवं सङ्गहीनं यदोङ्कारगम्यं निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवागमस्मि यदानन्दसिन्धौ निमग्नः पुमान् स्यात् अविद्याविलासः समस्तप्रपञ्चः तदा न स्फुरत्यज्वल अत्युद्भुतं यन्निमित्तं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवागमस्मि स्वरूपानसन्धानरूपां स्तुतिं यः पठेदादरात् भक्तिभावो मनुष्यः शृणोति नित्यमुद्युक्तचित्तः भवेद्विष्णुरत्रैव वेदप्रमाणा भवेद्विष्णुरत्रैव वेदप्रमाणा पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः